Good morning, friends. Hope you are all fine at your home. And I started, that is Alternative Centers of Power, revision of this chapter. And I told you about the importance of EU, European Union, that to counter dollars of America or the hegemony of American power. So, the European Union includes several non-permanent members of United Nations Security Council. This has enabled the EU to influence some US policies. This EU wants to influence some US policies also. That's why I told you that EU is for the counter in US hegemony, such as the current US position on the Iran's nuclear program. It used the diplomacy, economic investments and negotiation rather than coercion and military force has been effective as the case of its dialogue with China on human rights and environmental degradation. It means that EU is also supervising other nation countries, other members countries on the topic of environment degradation, also on the topic of human rights also. They also question sometime Chinese occupation, China's concern about human rights and environmental degradation. It is same EU also doing the same job as United Nations, as UN also doing. So, and militarily is one of the, you can say, the second largest power. US has its own military power. So militarily, the US combined armed forces are the second largest in the world. I told you this now. Its total spending on defense is second after the US. They are the counterpart of US. So the EU members states, Britain and France also have the nuclear warheads, and there are more than 550 nuclear warheads. As a supranational organization, EU is able to intervene in economic and political and social areas. But in many areas, its member states have their own foreign relation and defense policies that are often in odds with each other. Thus, Britain's Prime Minister was America's partner in the Iraq invasion, and many of the EU's nuclear members made up the US-led coalition to the Welling, where Germany and France oppose American policy. It means basically some of them they sometimes favor American policy. Some of them they favor France and Germany's policy. They have the contradiction with each other. So EU is basically again I'm telling you, is a counterpart, is a challenge for America's domination. America is having a dollar part. EU has its own euro. Right, euro is as a currency, and they have got good reservation, good economic reservation also. They have their own armed forces also. So they have their own non-permanent member in UNSC, that is United Nations Security Council. So to check the US hegemony, EU is there. The brainchild of EU is to countercheck American domination wherever it is there. Maybe it's a foreign policy, maybe it's a military policy, maybe economic, political, social, wherever it is. EU is there to intervene, to check American hegemony. So this was the part of EU. Next is another central and important part is ASEAN, Association of Southeast Asian Nation. ASEAN, right? Association of Southeast Asian Nation. So this is, which countries would you say fall in the southern east region of Asia? Before and during the Second World War, this region of Asia suffered the economic and political consequences of repeated colonization. means this part, Southeast Asian nation, lot of colonial people, they used to have the ground to make them colony. India was a colony of Britain. India was not a colony of Britain. India was a colony of 5 powers. So, like many, then Japan was there. Then many other Southeast Asian nation was there, both European and Japanese. At the end of the war, it confronted problems of nation building, the ravages of poverty and economic backwardness. Ravages of poverty. Basically, now not telling about this. When this ASEAN was born, lot of countries they were backward countries, and they were feeling economic backwardness and suffocating under the nation building and the pressure to align with one greater power another during the Cold War, and they were being pressurized that they should be aligned with any superpower, maybe America, maybe USSR. That time USSR was there because USSR was not disintegrated. This was a recipe for conflict, which the countries of Southeast Asia could ill afford. Efforts of Asian and Third World unity, such as Bandung Conference and the Non-Aligned Movement, were ineffective in establishing the Convention for Informal Cooperation Interaction. Hence, the Southeast Asian nation sought an alternative by establishing the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, because lot of parties, they don't have any effect on Southeast Asian nations. They want to create their own group so that they should be obviously powerful. So ASEAN, like this, ASEAN was born, ASEAN was established, and when ASEAN was established, it was established in 1967. ASEAN was established in 1967, mind it. And there were some countries were like 5 countries were there. As 5 superpowers are there, same 5 countries were there. What were they? They were Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand. Again I repeat, 1 Indonesia, then Malaysia, 2nd, 3rd is Philippines, 4th is Singapore, and 5th is Thailand. These 5 countries formed ASEAN group when in 1967 by signing the Bangkok Declaration. Right? Now, in next video, ASEAN is very important. Go through ASEAN chapter very carefully. Right? I have already done. I am revising it. In next video. Till then, take care and have a nice time. Thank you.